Welcome everyone to today's explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to share the details of a really fascinating medical breakthrough with you today. We rely on over 15,000 tiny hair cells in our inner ear to hear the world around us. And until now, once they were damaged, that was it. They were gone for good. But today, we're breaking down a monumental leap forward in gene therapy. It sounds like straight up science fiction, but it's actually happening right now in labs and clinics. We're talking about the very real possibility of completely restoring lost hearing. The medical world is advancing at a blistering pace, and this specific development, it's poised to literally rewrite how we understand human healing and biology. Okay, let's dive into this. For a long time, if you asked whether lost hearing could actually be restored, the answer was a pretty difficult, painful no. Think about the countless folks whose sense of hearing has weakened or just been entirely lost over time. Whether it's from a sudden physical injury, an unexpected disease, or, just severe long-term wear and tear, losing your hearing is an incredibly isolating experience. It fundamentally changes how you interact with the world, how you converse with your loved ones, the whole shebang. Up until now, medical science could really only offer ways to kind of manage that loss, but not truly reverse it. We could bridge the gap, sure, but we couldn't rebuild the bridge. But as you'll see as we unpack the science in this explainer today, that old narrative is fundamentally changing. Look at this incredible development. We are officially past the theoretical stage of, dusty research papers and laboratory petri dishes. Right now, human trials for the world's very first gene therapy aimed at actually curing hearing loss are officially underway. This isn't some distant, decades-away promise that we're just hoping to figure out eventually. Actually, scratch that. It's happening right now. Think about the bravery of these early volunteers, people who have lost one of their primary senses, stepping up to test a biological cure. These folks whose hearing has been severely compromised by illness or damage are currently in active trials, testing a brand new development that carries the very real promise of bringing back their hearing entirely. It is a massive, absolutely historic moment for global health. So the crucial point is grasping exactly how this works, and for that, we need to look at sensory receptors. You can think of these as the microscopic, highly sensitive nerve muscles deep inside your inner ear. When these receptors are healthy, they perfectly capture sound waves and translate them into signals that our brain instantly understands. It's kind of like a tiny, perfect microphone, but they're incredibly delicate. And when they get damaged by loud noises, disease, or simply getting older, they stop doing their job, and our hearing slowly fades. Crucially, the human body doesn't naturally regenerate these specific cells. Once they die, they're gone. But this new gene therapy, it goes right to the source. It targets these exact receptors to fix the root cause of the problem biologically, rather than just slapping a technological band-aid over the issue. Here is exactly how this groundbreaking medical process unfolds inside the body. It starts by utilizing a modified, completely harmless virus, acting not as an invader, but as a microscopic delivery truck. Now, I know the word virus often sounds pretty alarming, but it's critically important to understand that in gene therapy, scientists expertly strip away all the harmful parts of the virus, leaving only its incredible ability to enter human cells. This harmless vehicle travels directly to the dormant receptors deep inside the ear, dropping off a highly targeted therapeutic gene. And then comes the truly magical part. This newly introduced gene actually stimulates those damaged receptors, prompting them to start reproducing and regenerating naturally. It literally wakes them up on a cellular level and commands them to start working again. Let's move to and see how this builds upon, or rather contrasts with, the mechanical treatments we've relied on for decades. Because to truly appreciate how monumental this biological approach is, we have to look at the old tech versus the future. For a very long time, we've relied on machines, batteries, and microchips to do the work of human biology. And hey, we've created some incredibly sophisticated hardware to help people navigate a silent world. But hardware will always be hardware, and as we're about to see, relying on machines to replicate a beautifully complex human sense comes with some very real, very frustrating limitations that technology alone simply hasn't been able to overcome. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what I mean. When we compare these treatments side by side, the difference is just staggering. Traditional hearing aids work primarily by amplifying sound intensity. Think of it like turning up the volume on a broken speaker. The sound is certainly louder, but it isn't necessarily any clearer, right? Cochlear implants take a much more invasive approach, bypassing the damaged ear entirely and converting sound into electrical waves sent straight to the auditory nerve. But the result? It often struggles with nuance. Gene therapy, on the other hand, doesn't rely on artificial amplification or electrical conversion at all.
By regenerating the sensory receptors themselves, it results in the restoration of natural, organic hearing. It's true biological repair, replacing those mechanical workarounds we've kind of just had to settle for in the past.
Let's talk a little bit more about those cochlear implants for a second, because they represent the absolute best of our current technology, yet they still frustrate so many users on a daily basis. Because the implant converts natural sound waves into artificial electrical impulses, the human brain actually struggles to interpret those signals. Imagine trying to listen to your favorite song, but instead of rich, beautiful melodies, you only hear flat, distorted electrical feedback. That is the frustrating reality for a lot of implant users. The brain has a hard time identifying specific frequencies, meaning users find it incredibly difficult to recognize the subtle nuances of music, changes in rhythm, or even the pitch of a loved one's voice. It's an often robotic, metallic substitute for actual human hearing. Which brings us to the ultimate, beautiful goal of this medical research. The true success here isn't about building a better microphone, engineering a faster microchip, or creating a smaller battery for a hearing device. No, the goal is giving patients back their completely natural hearing. Imagine the warmth and profound hope of that reality. Instead of relying on artificial technology that requires nightly charging, constant maintenance, and external hardware attached to your head, a person's own body is actively healed from the inside out. They'll be able to hear the world exactly as it was meant to be heard, organically, effortlessly, and naturally. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the medical community is viewing this shift with immense confidence. As researchers have noted, natural hearing will be restored much better compared to other technologies. This bold statement perfectly captures the immense, life-changing superiority of this breakthrough. We aren't just talking about a minor upgrade to the status quo here. We are talking about a total paradigm shift that could eventually leave all previous hardware-based technologies entirely in the dust. If these clinical trials continue to show the success we're seeing, we're looking at a very near future where the concept of permanent, irreversible hearing loss might just become a closed chapter in medical history. It truly makes you wonder about the boundless potential of modern medicine, doesn't it? If researchers can safely utilize a simple modified virus to completely restore our natural hearing today, what other profound sensory limitations could gene therapy conquer tomorrow? Could the same foundational science eventually be used to restore sight, or maybe perfectly repair other complex nerve damage throughout the human body? It is a thrilling, provocative thought, and it leaves us incredibly hopeful for the future of human health and longevity. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay curious, and I'll see you next time.